guys, today we are going to talk about how to treat feral cats for fleas and to deworm them. This is Moon. He was a feral cat. He came to my barn and I couldn't touch him for a year at least, and I had him neutered and they cut his ear, which is awful, and he's not going to want to sit on my lap long. He's my barn cat, but I can pick him up and touch him and everything, and he's super friendly now. But he was 100% feral, and I live in the country now, so I don't get as many feral cats here at my barn, but they do show up. And in fact, all the cats that I have that are barn cats have come to me as feral cats. I've had mothers drop off kittens here and all kinds of stuff. But living in town, I have taken care of a lot of feral cats, including Colonies and everything else, and my sister does the same thing. My sister still lives in town, and she cares for a lot of neighborhood cats that don't have a home. Some of them aren't necessarily feral, some of them are 100% feral. You can't get near them, and it's very tricky to take care of them as far as deworming and flea prevention and all that. But we have some tips and tricks that really help. So stay tuned and we'll get into it. Okay, so Coco and I she's gonna help me today. She likes cats, but they're not her favorite animal in the world. She's got a couple, Stella, she likes Stella, and she likes Bee, and she likes Moon. But I have a cat named Raven, and she doesn't care for Raven too much because Raven is kind of mean to dogs, so she doesn't really like her. But she loves to help with this kind of thing right here. Okay, so as far as deworming them, it's pretty easy on feral cats. It's not if you're going to the vet and getting, something that needs to be squirted in the mouth, or, given without food, or a pill that needs to go down their throat or something like that. It can be a lot more challenging. But I've got a natural way that you can deworm 5 cats at a time on one plate, which is super beneficial. You have 20 cats, a colony of 20 cats that come up at night or whatever, and you're feeding them. Even dry, just if you only feed dry, you could still do it with dry. But if you're feeding them wet, do you want to get down, baby? You want to help? You want to stay? When you're feeding them dry, you can add it to the dry food. It just won't worm them as quickly. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. Well, if you've got a feral colony that has fleas that you know for sure they have tapeworms, it'll probably be best to try to get it done as fast as possible instead of the long route. So I'll explain that in a second. Okay, I'll call you when we're ready to mix it up. Okay, so deworming them, I use and this helps with flea. This is also a flea repellent, and this is my product that I make. You can make it up. It's really simple. It is my No More Fleas and deworming feed supplement. So I have a dewormer that's just the dewormer, but this is also a dewormer, and it's got extra stuff in there that help the body repel fleas. The number one thing that I add to this that repels fleas is brewer's yeast. Brewer's yeast has all the B vitamins, and B vitamins do something, especially B1, thiamine, does something to the body that makes mosquitoes not want to bite you. A lot of humans know this, that use that. Brewer's yeast, nutritional yeast, all those kind of things. Apple cider vinegar even has a lot of B vitamins in it. That's the reason why those things work, is it makes the blood not very appetizing, and it changes the odor of the body so the pests don't want to get on them. So it won't kill them if they've already got fleas. That is a misconception a lot of people have. This is a preventative. So brewer's yeast, and then anything with sulfur in it, which would be MSM. MSM is you've probably heard it's always sold for joint supplements with glucosamine and chondroitin, MSM. MSM is a sulfur compound, and it is it changes the blood as well. It makes the body not appetizing to the pests. Now, it's not 100% bullet that will keep all fleas and ticks off of them, but it helps. It's really good when you're doing natural stuff to include that. So brewer's yeast, nutritional yeast, whichever one, or even apple cider vinegar. It's just a lot of pets don't like apple cider vinegar, especially at the strength that you would have to use it to really get big benefits out of it. MSM, and then garlic. Now, I use garlic powder, an organic garlic powder, and there's a ton of, controversy on garlic being toxic to pets, both cats and dogs. And that is absolutely wrong. It's been studied, and there's hundreds of studies. If you do a lot of research looking at the benefits of garlic, you'll find published studies that show that, beagles were fed 1,000 cloves a day or whatever, and they didn't have any issues. If you look at toxicity, you're going to find people that are citing it being toxic, and it's not true. Okay, I've been wanting to make this video forever, but it's constantly been so windy here in Oklahoma, and it's better if I do this outside for lighting and sound and everything. And so I'm fighting the wind, so my camera just kind of sways every now and then. But anyways, garlic is not toxic to pets, and it's super beneficial for pets as far as flea and tick repellent. So I've been adding it to my dog's fresh garlic and garlic powder for over 20 years. And like I've said 1,000 times, my Winifred, who is a cat that lived to be 17 years old and was healthy, she literally died of old age. She didn't die of she just went to sleep and pretty much didn't wake up. And she was just really old and got frail and rickety and didn't want to walk around much and everything. But she was really healthy all the way up to 17, and she was almost 18. She went that whole extra year, but she had garlic every day of her life, and she was very healthy and rarely had a flea or tick. I mean, we would get some in if we had rescue dogs and stuff like that, but we'd get rid of them so quick. But anyways, then probiotics, and I put, vitamin C. Vitamin C needs to go in with MSM in order for it to work, especially if you're using it for joint supplement and stuff like that. But I think it needs to go in as well just to get it to drive into the cells. So that's something to remember too. But I'll put all of my ingredients down below if you want to order it, and it'll be on my Amazon list too. In my Amazon store, I make like these lists, and like I do my flea powders and my dewormers and all my different remedies. You can go in and see what I've purchased on Amazon and the different, companies that I use that I've trust and everything. But anyways, a flea feed supplement is really good at help preventing fleas and repelling them. Now, if you know your feral cats have fleas and you're wanting to get something on them to kill the fleas, and you can't do flea collars or sprays or powders on them and everything, what you can do is I make a Diatomaceous earth blend with lemongrass, neem, and rosemary in it. And while I recommend this to be topically put directly on the pet in order to kill the fleas, with feral cats and animals I can't touch that are wild or whatever, usually everyone has a spot where their cats hang out, their feral cats. If you're taking care of them, you might have boxes around for them, or blankets, or you can see places that they're laying. Like you can even go out into parks and different places, and there's places where they frequent and they lay. What I do is I sprinkle this into the blankets or where they lay, in their boxes, anywhere where they're going to lay in, and they don't mind it at all. I have never had a cat not want to lay in it. I sprinkle it in and kind of lightly rub it in. Now, they will get enough on them, especially if you do it like every 3 or 4 days for a couple weeks. And it doesn't have to be a lot, but when they lay in it, they're going to pick it up and wick it off as they move around. So you want to keep reapplying it. And also, fleas take 14 days from the time they've bred to the time they hatch out the new hatchlings. So all those new baby fleas need to emerge and get into the powder. So you really need to do a couple weeks of it, or a little longer than a couple weeks, so that way you catch all these newly emerging fleas that are hatching. Diatomaceous earth it kills within 24 hours on the fleas that it contacts. But like I said, they're jumping off the cats and breeding in the grass and different places and hatching new eggs. So you'll be, trying to kill a lot of different fleas at different stages of the life. So to break their life cycle, you need to go past 2 weeks. This is really effective. I have had feral colonies. I've completely got rid of all their fleas, all their tapeworms, start seeing optimal health in the whole colony. And the probiotics seem to really help the cats too. It seems like when feral cats are underfed, undernourished and everything, and deficient in a lot of stuff, probiotics, their guts are messed up, they're under a lot of stress, they don't think correctly, and just like humans. And I think when they start doing that, they start actually getting friendlier. And that's what's happened with a lot of my barn caps. And Moon came around really quick. L-reuteri is one that seems to really, it's a probiotic that really seems to help make them friendlier. There's scientific proof that L-reuteri increases oxytocin, so I guess it makes you more loving and happy and everything, and it works for the pets. It works great on dogs too. But I'll link all this down, in my blog too, and in my Amazon list and all that. Now, of course, you can get on my website and purchase flea powder from me. I sell it in the 14 ounce. I have it in a shaker. This one you can dip your hand in and do it that way. I sell it in a 24 ounce for cats and a 3 pound. The dog blend is the same, so I just package them differently because a lot of cat owners don't want to use dog things. But you can get that on my website. You can also get my Flea Free, which comes in a 6 ounce, 1 pound, and a 2 pound as well for bigger colonies. But you can make your own. If you're a DIYer and make your own, it's fairly reasonable to make. You just have to buy everything in bulk and mix up big batches of it, if you're taking care of a lot of cats. Or even a cattery, or if you have, a cat rescue or something. It's excellent stuff to use. It works 100%. There's a lot of studies done on it, but if you research it the wrong way, you're going to get shown how it doesn't work, and how there's so much controversy, and even controversy over food grade diatomaceous earth over filtration grade, and how it's detrimental to use for your lungs, and it's not. There are two different types of diatomaceous earth. One is more silica, one is more amorphous, and food grade is not shown any irreversible lung damage. It's like if you inhale it, you might have, irritable for a little bit, but it doesn't do any kind of silicosis or anything like that, like silica does. Anyways, you need to research that and go down that rabbit hole. It is safe to use. It is awesome for cats, for cat rescues, people who are out there taking care of feral colonies. Excellent stuff. I just want to jump on here real quick because I have so many people asking, and tell everyone about the, how to do this. Like I said, you could do the wormer. Actually, I have 4 cats that I'm going to do right now, but I'm going to show you real quick. This is how my packaging comes. It comes with instructions on the back, and it comes in a bag like this. Now you can transfer this to a glass jar, which is kind of what I recommend, but a lot of people just keep it in the bag. Actually, I'm going to use this for 1 dinner plate, 1 regular size dinner plate. What I do is I add, for adult cats, now it doesn't matter if there's kittens eating on this, because it's not going to hurt them if they get too much, or, and if you're doing the course of 10 days, everybody's going to get the amount that they need to get to deworm them. Now I do a heaping teaspoon for each adult cat. I do 5 heaping teaspoons. Five heaping teaspoons. That's quite a bit. But we want to to really deworm them. I mean, the trick is you can underdose this, but you can't overdose it. So you just don't, cost-wise, you want to go at what you need to do to deworm them, but you definitely don't want to under deworm them. Now, this is Reveal, and this is a smaller can. I usually use the bigger can, but what you do is add your can in here. Now, I'm only deworming 4 cats, but I put 5 in here to show you. And I deworm my cats now. They've already done their 10-day regimen, and they don't have worms, really. This is more of a maintenance dose. I add a little bit of water. I spilled my water. But you want to add just enough water to get it kind of smushy. Okay, the wind was blowing, blew my water over. I would say, well, I can't really tell you because like this cat food was very dry. It wasn't real moist, you know, it's pate. But you want enough water to make it a paste. Something that they'll lick it up, you know. You don't want it too thin, but you don't want it too thick either. And if you're having trouble with them eating it, which I have, especially feral cats, I've never seen them not want to eat it. But if you're having trouble getting them to eat it, you can always half the dose or even start with 1/4 of the dose and just kind of get them used to the flavor and the texture of it. And they should just start eating it just fine, and you can increase it as you go. If you do go with a smaller dose like that, I wouldn't start the 7 to 10 day regimen until you're up to the full dose. Like I said, you can't really overdose it. You can't go too long. You can feed this daily to anything. In fact, there are studies done with food grade diatomaceous earth to get cattle have proper weight gain. And the reason why is it actually scrubs the colon out really good. And that allows you to absorb your nutrients better, and so you get much healthier, and you gain weight if you're skinny, you lose weight if you're overweight. It's amazing. But I don't know if you can see this. This is kind of like just a thick soup. Now they will lick this up really good, and like I said, if some gets more than the other, it does not matter. Now, I let 5 cats seem to eat on this, you know, just fine. If you've got 20 cats, I would do 4 plates, 5 on each one, and then set them out. And if you've got 6 or 7 cats on one plate and 3 on another, don't worry about it. And as they move around and taste other different ones and everything, everybody's going to get plenty. And if you've got a glutton who gets too much and he ends up eating 2 teaspoons, it's not going to hurt him. You've just, you know, it'll all equal out. If you've got one that's really skinny and off and doesn't seem to eat very good, you might want to try to see if he'll eat by himself and make him a separate plate and give him the 1 full teaspoon. I've had to do that before, but other than that, they should deworm just fine. And like I said, with this, for the ferals, I wouldn't just use a dewormer. I would go ahead and do you could do the winter, but for the flea season and stuff, I would use the one with the brewer's yeast and the MSM and the garlic and all that, because it really does help repel fleas. Once they have fleas, you're going to have to use something to kill the fleas, which this is great. There's so many things that are toxic to cats. You know, like I love my pyrethrin spray if you got something really bad going on, but you can't use that around cats. You can. Once it dries, they can go back to that area, but I still wouldn't use it around feral cats. It wouldn't do a whole lot of good. The powder, they lay in this and it does get on their coat and it does help, but you just have to be a little bit more persistent with it. Now, as far as this with kibble, if you're only feeding dry kibble, you can add, I think it's 1 full cup of this to 11 pounds of food, and then just feed it. Now that will take several months to get them dewormed. They also can complain if it doesn't soak into their food. Most of the time, if you do that, you shake it real good in the bag, close the bag up and let it sit 24 hours and it will soak in. And there'll be no trace of it anymore, but it's on there because of the oils. But here lately, I've been getting I think it's Rachel Ray limited ingredient. And then Purina Naturals, they must not have very much oil in their cat food, in their dry cat food, and it doesn't soak in as fast. And my cats will complain if there's too much powder on their dry food, and they will eat it if that's all there is. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I overpowdered it. But that works. It does work. It just takes 3 or 4 months to really get the colony completely wormed that way. So this is the preferred way to do it. This will do it quickly and give them a lot more benefit. Now, once you've done the 7 to 10 day, you could just go to adding it to the cat food all the time. And you could even add less if your cat food isn't very oily, or experiment with it. Just see if the cats will eat it still. I mean, some cats don't seem to mind it, especially feral cats, because they're starving and they can't get food anywhere. So they're pretty agreeable. My cats are so spoiled. They turn their nose up at, boiled chicken and all kinds of stuff. So you got to experiment. But anyways, it's that simple to take care of these feral cats. This stuff really works for both flea prevention, flea killer, and deworming. So share this to any of your friends who take care of feral cats or have a rescue or any kind of cattery of any kind. Has more than, like my sister has 14 cats that she takes care of that are her own. And then she's got a lot of neighborhood cats and feral cats that she feeds, and a few possums and a couple raccoons that come to her porch as well. But anyways, share it around. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and I'll have more videos coming soon. Bye.